This is UGC-NET 2022 Assistant Professor Selection, and paper 1 in this unit 4 we are going to see now, that is communication. What is communication? The communication word comes from the Latin word communicate or communist, which means to make common. Communication means to make familiar facts, thoughts, information, and requirements. So, communication is the interchange of ideas from information, message, etc. by way of speech, writing, or it may be in the form of signal. Now in this picture what we are going to see is what is communication. See, communication is the process of passing information, that is sending, and understanding, that is receiving, the same from one person to another through verbal and non-verbal means. So you can see in this picture there is a lady. She is now, we are coding a sender. She is sending a message to the receiver. Receiver is another person. He is receiving the communication, that is the message what she has passed. So there is an interpretation takes place between two members. Definition. Three important people, they have given their own definition regarding communication. In that, the first one is Alan Lewis. What he has told in the sense about communication, his definition is communication is the sum of all things and one person does when he wants to create understanding in the mind of another. It involves a systematic and continuous process of telling, listening, and understanding. This is by Alan Lewis. And if you see the George Terry, what he has told in the sense, communication is an exchange of facts, ideas, opinions, or emotions by two or more persons. This is by George Terry. And the third one, it is by Peter Little. He defined the communication as communication is the process by which information is transmitted between individuals and organizations so that an understanding response results. This is by Peter Little. Now we are going to see the characteristics of communication. You can see the communication takes place between two or more persons. This is the first point. So minimum of at least two persons require, that is the sender of the message and the receiver. So when the communication takes place, if there are two people, one is the sender and another one is the receiver, this at least two. And the second point is exchange of ideas. So what is communication? It is nothing but the exchange of ideas. There must be an exchange of ideas, information, feeling, etc. among two or more than two persons. So say for example, in a group, a person is, he is exchanging the ideas, or he is giving the informations, or he is with the body language, he is showing his feelings to the group of the people or the opponent people, one he is present just in front of him. And third one, mutual understanding. The receiver should receive the information in the same manner with which it is being given. So there should be understanding thing what the sender is sending the message, that should be received in a proper way by the receiver. So mutual understanding should be there when there is a communication. Then communication is a continuous process It never stops. See, for example, from the higher authority to the next level, then to the next level, then to the next level, and every day we are communicating with everyone. So, communication never stops. Use of words as well as symbols. Sometimes we may use some words or some symbols we show uh, without speaking. Some symbols we show, so that can be catched by the opponent party and they understand. So this is what given here. There can be many means of communication like the oral, the written and symbolic, what you have seen in the traffic signals. So only signals will be, nobody will say that. See, a nice picture is given to you, the process of communication. What you are seeing in the first one is the sender is sending, that will be encoded through a channel, and the decoder, the receiver is decoding that, and it's understanding what the message is given. So in the same way, the receiver also send a communication through a channel that will be decoded by the sender. So both the way it is possible. The sender also can pass the message. At the same time, in vice versa, the receiver can send the message to the sender. Process of communication. So how this process is going on in the picture we have seen. So this is the explanation which is given for this process of communication. First one, the sender. Sender is the person who sends the message. The message may be in the form of thought, idea, symbol, a picture report or order, or posture and gestures, in the sense the body language. So even a momentary smile. The sender is the creator of the message. So who is creating the message is the sender. So he is the creator of the message. So it may be even a simple smile can create what the sender is sending the message that will be received by the receiver. The receiver can understand why that, the reason of that smile. Then next one is message. It is the information the sender needs to convey to the receiver. The data transmitted by words, as in speech and write-ups, pictures, signs or symbols, are depending upon the situation. Then encoding. So what is encoding? Encoding is transforming the message into an appropriate medium, which may be verbal or non-verbal, depending upon the situation, space, time, and nature of the message to be sent to the intended receiver. The sender encodes the message into the series of words, symbols, or pictures. So these are the various ways of sending the message to the receiver. So media, what are the medias which is needed for this communication is, media refers to the channel, maybe TV or something else, or medium through which the message is transmitted. The message may be in the form of written or oral, or it may be sent via the computer, telephone, cell phone, apps, or televisions, maybe in the form of books. So these are the different media. The communication takes place between the sender and the communicator. Sender as well as the receiver. Now, the receiver. Receiver is the person or group of a person who is receiving the message. He is at the other end of the process. He may be a listener, viewer, or reader. He needs to decode the message sent in the best possible manner such that the real intent of the communication is attended. See, for example, in the classroom you can take. In the classroom, a person, that is a lecturer, maybe in front of you. So a group of people are sitting and listening the lecture. So here the communication is between a single person and a group of person. And decoding. So decoding refers to interpreting or comprehending the sent message. So what the decoder is doing, what is the decoding in the sense? One who is receiving the message, the receiver interprets the message and tries to understand in the best possible manner. It's very easy to say the lecturer is lecturing. So one who is sitting in front can understand when the lecturer is explaining a particular concept. So now what the student is doing, decoding what the lecturer is giving. So this is what called decoding. Feedback. It is a reply given by the receiver after reading the message. It is necessary to ensure that the message has been correctly decoded and comprehended the way in it was sent. It is very, very important in communication because, see, a lecturer is explaining about a particular concept. The student is in front of her or him and listening the class. The lecturer is after lecturing, she is or he is asking a few questions whether the concept is understood by the student or not. The lecturer is checking. At that time, the student has to give a correct answer. Then only the lecturer or the professor can understand the student understood or not. If she has given a correct answer, then the lecturer will be very happy that the concept has reached the student. So this is what the feedback is very important after sending a message or after taking a class. This is very, very important because the lecturer should know or the professor should know whether the concept taught by her or him is reached or not. Now we are going to see the objectives of communication. The objectives of communication are numerous depending on the situation. Some of the common goals of official notification are to get or provide information, to ask for or give instructions or suggestions or advice, to make requests, to persuade other people to agree with us. So these are the main objectives of the communication. And evaluation of communication, effectiveness. This is also very, very important. We have to evaluate. Communication is not an end in itself. Rather, it's a mean to attain other ends or goals. Hence, it has to be effective to be able to attain these goals or objectives. Communication effectiveness can be examined in relation to the following criteria. First one is fidelity of communication. Here, the distortion-free quality of a message is called fidelity. An effective person gets the message across to others with minimal possibilities of misunderstanding. And next one is economy. In effective communication, a minimum of energy, time, symbols, and cues are used to encode messages without losing their fidelity and impact. Concurrence. An effective communication integrates both verbal and non-verbal cues. Influence. The most important criterion of effectiveness is the influence that the communicator is able to exercise over the receiver of the communication. Influence means the communicator achieves the results he intended. And the next one, relationship building. Effective communication contributes to the building of trust and a better relationship between the source and the target. So thanks for watching and subscribing this channel.